Afternoon and welcome to Fletcher's Field in Markham, Ontario. Geographically speaking, we're northeast of Toronto, and Canada and the United States should be a terrific game right here on this field. But if you listen to the two coaches, and I speak of Parfrey and Jack Clark, like they're already looking ahead to the World Cup in October. Parfrey says that he's going to run the pattern that he's going to run against France. Jack Clark is saying they're going to try some experimenting. Wait a minute. What about Canada, USA? Let's go upstairs to Mark and Gary. Gentlemen, should we believe the coaches they're telling us?
Thanks, Neil. And while it is true, both teams, the Rugby World Cup less than 5 months away, I think we can throw all that out the window for these two teams.
Well, the coaches, the way they're talking, Jack Clark and Pat Parfrey, is both teams are going to win. They're going to play the patterns and they'll be successful. The players are out there to win. The victory for Canada is essential. The players will.
A huge rivalry between these two nations. U.S. Canada having winning the last 7. They're looking to change that.
And the Canadian players to continue that 7-win streak. An 8th game is a huge pressure. The Americans are playing better than the Canadians right now, and the Canadians will have their hands full today.
Yeah, it's the underlying rivalry, but we will see some new combinations from both teams. The states looking to do things, also building for the World Cup.
That's correct. They've selected a huge back row, about 6'4", 240 pounds to a man, led by Lyle. The Canadians, smaller back row, very quick to the breakdown, and we'll see who wins the battle to the loose ball.
So we'll be looking for a very mobile back row for the Eagles, but talking about mobility, Gareth was injured against Canada this game.
Well, I believe that Gareth is the intellectual leader. He does lead the team. He has been practicing with him. He's been running shoes. He just will not be there today. Can John Graff pick up the lead Canada to victory today?
Canada-U.S. rivalry, 10-2 for Canada. They do not want to lose here today.
As I said before, it's a backyard brawl. No matter what coaches say, the players are out there to win. It's going to be huge.
And we talked about some new combinations for the U.S. Eagles, but I still think there's a critical combination issue with the centers for Canada, Gary.
Yes, Winston Stanley is not playing today, and he's been moved to the wing. So maybe the Canada selectors have decided that Winston is not going to be the center. We're seeing a couple of Ontario boys playing today, and they must play well for Canada.
So we'll be looking for everybody to play well. The state's looking for a victory. Canada looking to get a win in the Epson Cup, and we'll be back with more coverage of the Epson Cup right after this. And welcome back to Fletcher's Field here in Markham, Ontario. The USA against Canada. Perfect playing conditions today. Exciting match expected by both teams. And changes in the Eagles front row, Gary. A new cap for Joe Clayton.
Yes, I think the big problem America might have with this new cap against the experienced Canadian front row. He'll had his hands full with Richard Bice today. The other thing that's important, I think, is the huge American back row of Lyle, Tardis, and Hodges. They're monsters, and see if they can carry through the Canadian midfield.
And while we're looking at new changes in the Eagles, we're also looking at changes in the Canadian front row and at the standoff position.
Well, the biggest significance is that Bob Ross will be out there, but he doesn't have the command that Gareth has out there, and how much Gareth Reese will be missed will be evident today.
So those are the players playing today's starting lineup, but we also have the reserve. Winston Stanley on the bench for Canada, likely to have started today against the Eagles.
Winston Stanley is the most capped player for Canada in that position. He's also a very exciting player, top try scorer, and he's not playing today. He missed the flight out. He's being fat out for punishment, and hopefully he will get some game time.
So those are the starting lineups. Big crowd on hand. We'll be back with more and the opening kickoff from CTV Sportsnet's coverage of the 1999 Cup right after this.
We're just moments away from the kickoff.
And welcome back to Fletcher's Field here in Markham, Ontario, and CTV Sportsnet's coverage of the 1990 Rugby World Cup preview game between Canada and the USA. USA definitely pumped for this game. And have beat Canada.
That's correct. No matter what happens today, this is a year between the United States and Canada. 1-4. No excuses.
Referee from Japan, he refereed the USA's last game.
That's right. The last game Canada played against the United States, Mr. Nabuki Tanaka referee game, and the Americans won supposedly 4 past the minutes. The kickoff here, a good game for everyone.
Crowd on Bobby Ross. Canada up on the ball. The American player inside the 22, Dalzell. Opting not for touch. Stewart gathers it. He's hit hard. Andy Lyle, the captain for the Eagles, and quickly a penalty against the Eagles and a quick start for Canada.
The referee has judged that Dan Lyle, their captain, has come over and tried to keep the ball in. It looked to me like the ball was coming out very easily. Just waited for a minute. Scott Stewart missed that ball. But first pass to Canada, Bob Ross will bang the USA into the corner.
So a good confidence boost for touch. Here's the veteran Scott Stewart.
Plays for the Harlequins in the UK. He's being signed by Bedford for a 2-year contract.
Canada with the lineup inside the Eagles 22. Mark Cardle back in the lineup for Canada.
The veteran Cardinal facing the American veteran Tom Phillips. They played against each other many times today. Will be a real struggle.
Ball's up. Quick
That might take. Graf making a break.
break, but the referee ruling that.
Crooked throw.
Crooked throw, not straight.
Not straight. So the set scrum, a turnover, the first turnover of the game. Here's the throw right now. We can look for ourselves. Mark throwing the ball. It's got to be down the middle. No, definitely crooked. Good call by the referee.
Scrum down the Eagles inside their 22. First scrum of the game. And we'll see quite a matchup in the front. Go Clayton against
Richard Butt.
Look at the pack weights.
Both teams very
Big front row combination for the Eagles.
Yeah, these players care much. Naya, give a little shock to. They all know each other. They have a lot of games against one another. There's Dan Lyle, American captain. If you want to kill American, the stereotype in America, Dan Lyle fits it to a T. Extremely athletic, extremely physical, and he said he's not going to take any extra from Canada. Canada will match that.
Russell mixing it up for the Canadians. To the set play here. Gary, we've got Dan Boss scrum half.
Yeah, Danny Boss goes into the scrum half position. And what happens is the ball is picked up by the number 8 and feeds Danny Boss going to the right.
So we'll look for the combination to bang the ball. Back to the scrum. Moving it, there's Sharon right forward. Graf, bring it back to Ross. Brills. Links his low heat. Graf to Ross. He's hit hard. That was Tardis coming into nail. Go forward. Rod Snow right to the blind side. The ball's out. Unfortunately. Will they go for 3 or will
I think early in the game, take the 3 points with Bob Ross kicking. That's an interesting pass to play. That it all started with a good. Americans did not handle it, and Canada kept the pressure on. Rewarded with a kickable kick for Bob Ross.
So Ross will go for the penalty.
David Lougheed stopped
Just short of the try line.
See that's on Bobby Ross.
Well, Lougheed produced the ball. He's the one new player that's come back inside. Great physical winger. He'll be bringing into the play lost. Both him and Courtney Smith are running wingers. They like to come back this way. They're not afraid of the heavy contact. Here's David Lougheed, and he's the only new player added to the Canadian team.
Back in the Canadian side, playing his club rugby professionally in Fletcher, England, where they won the league championship this year. Plays a lot of 7s for the Canadian team. Bobby Ross looking to put Canada on the board early in this match. Seems to have died down for the moment. Struck it beautifully. Right to the center. Canada's ready. The Eagles now early in the game.
He's an excellent goal kicker. Excellent. It's the leadership for the Canada fans give something to cheer about. And feet first by Canada.
Kick. Restart for the Eagles.
He plays at standoff for his own club, so he has good skills.
Not quite 10. Referee. Canada scrummer line out off of the line out at center field. Great attacking opportunity here for Canada.
Yeah, Canada has a huge field attack. We'll see if Canada runs this ball or kicks the ball into the corner for field position. They spread the Americans out, and lots of room in the field. Bobby's got to the back's left, but Scotty Stewart's on the right side.
So while we'll see the underlying run factor against these two countries, we'll probably see a pattern of play as Tom Parfrey talked about off the top. They're going to France October 2nd. Ross with the right foot. Bounces out on the fly, so they'll bring back into the Canadian half.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what they want to do. They had picked up in the back row. If they want to get the ball, it could have gone straight to Bobby to push the ball field position. As it was, it hit the line. And if you hit the line, the ball is out. And line out to the USA.
Phillips with the throw in for the Eagles.
was captain for the Eagles.
Until Dan Lyle came back into the lineup. States tossed up high, collected by Lyle. Forward, referee playing advantage. Picked up by Graf. Snow. He's lumbering forward, driving goes backwards. There's Hutchinson linking. Taking it on. They move the ball at least 20 meters. Ross to Bryant looking for space. Ball popped out. That's gathered by Hodges. The space have recovered. But the referee called the penalty. And a great series of players. Forwards driving well for Canada, Garrett.
Right, a change of possession by the USA initially, and then Canada giving the ball back to the USA penalized for holding the ball in. This time, Bobby Ross will bang the ball into the corner for a line out for Canada. Richard Bice, the head we're looking at from the Burnaby Football Club in Vancouver.
His first cap for the Eagles. International for today's captain. Set the record last game against Samoa. Adding to that record today for big things from Graf in leading this Canadian team against the Eagles.
Correct. He added a burden of leadership. It's a huge weight to carry. Carry that one.
So here's Cardinal. He looked to straighten this throw. Likely to link with Tate to the lineup. Right the middle. Goes to Tate. Manages to haul it in with one hand. And the roll is on. Ross. The dummy. In comes Lougheed. Ref has the ball. Hutchinson to Tate.
And he takes on New.
Danny Bott.
Trying to make some headway.
Ross. And there's space. Does he have the corner? Canada there, number just short of the line. A great start for Canada. Great start for the captain. What a way. Leading by example. Scores a try for Canada.
Fantastic. You bring the crowd, this huge crowd into the game, you get some points for him. Johnny Graf has done that.
Fantastic drive by the Fort. Set that up. They couldn't stop him. John Graf able to sneak his way into the corner and touch it down for the try.
Here's the replay. Johnny Graf picks it up and goes under the American defender. You see the touch judge, Bruce Kuklinski, nodding to the referee. He was in the best position to see it, saying yes, 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 even though the referee must make a final decision. Help out by doing things like that.
So a tremendous start for the Canadians. That's what they wanted to do, send an early message to the Eagles. And here we have another look at the play developing. Ross made that half gap, which led to the try.
I think the key is that the players produce the ball after contact. Bobby saw the gap, took it, and was able to produce the ball. Johnny picks it up and slides underneath for the try.
So fantastic Graf, making the most of its 51st appearance for Canada.
When the Canadian team gets inside the 22-meter line, they need some points. The first time they came up with penalty, Americans make a mistake. The second time they come up with a try. It's a very difficult kick from the sideline from Bob Ross, but one he is quite capable of making.
American Eagles player had a problem with his eyesight, and a great convert by Ross from the sideline. Tremendous kick. Making a 7-point effort for the Canadians. Fantastic convert by Canada with the quick start, 10-0 against the Eagles, and just what they need to do, Gary, to get the crowd and put the Eagles.
It's exactly the game they started. You remember that the Fiji game, they were down 2 tries before they even got started. Very positive start, but the Americans come back.
And it makes no this time. The yard slide up there. Canada's produced ball. Ross. He's got Banks driving forward. Making great progress. Graf wants the ball again. But it's a penalty against the Canadians. Just over the halfway mark.
Well, you can see Ryan Banks rolling over in the tackle. When you're tackled, you must turn the right way and produce the ball immediately. I think Ryan Banks had a little bit of a rollover, and the referee caught him for that.
So New with the touch, take responsibilities, and Anthony start the game for the Eagles. And the Eagles just inside the Canadian 22. There's Banks, plays for Burnaby Rugby Club in Vancouver. And a great run by Banks. Just at the last minute, penalty conceded to the Eagles.
Line out inside the Canadian 22.
Americans have a huge left forward. Luke Gross is the man I like to go to. He's 6'9". He's the biggest player ever to play for the Eagles, the tallest.
Indeed it is Gross they go to early. And it's Scharnberg substituting for outside center. Keeping it tight. Eagles making it look something happen here. It's wide. There's anybody by Lougheed. That's why he's in there. The big hits, and he certainly lived up to his reputation there, Gary.
That's what Canada needs. We need that centers. We need that the wing. We've got to be able to stop our man, and Dave certainly did that. Americans are now in our 22, and let's see how they act and how Canada defense holds.
For
ball must go to number 9. Must go to number 9.
Back into
Eagles produce.
Scharnberg.
Tried to hit Robler. Knocked forward. It should be a game ball, but the referee calling offside against the Canadians. Now it's up on the board.
You know, penalties go to the team that goes forward. The Americans are looking for it. They're often the touch judges, and the judges often make the call. What can call here is that the Canadian backs have been put offside.
So off the top, we told you Salala would be playing, but Scharnberg, an early substitute. Outside center.
Both American centers are very big. They've got some size on the Canadians, and this fella is about a 210-pounder as well. We're going to see how we hold up. I'm sure that's a point of attack that the Americans are going to try to exploit.
Scharnberg, 6 foot, 210 pounds, 36 cap for the United States. Dalzell will do kicking duties for the Eagles in terms of kicking for goal. His 11th cap for the Eagles. Struck it well.
No, he missed that.
He struck it wide. Canada dropped it down. He struck it well, but it just drifted right at the post. And
Ross with a quick restart and a deep kick. Linked with Morrow. Morrow starting looking at his options, and there was a burst of speed by Anatoly. Back into serve. Zell just threw it wildly, but it's picked up by Scharnberg. Eagles still have possession. There's big Al Parker. Lougheed standing him up. Dalzell tripped up, but managed to find Given back by Danny Baugh. A big hit Baugh. Defense by Canada. Rewarded with the Gary.
Earlier, and Danny Baugh is the hitman. He plays for. And here's little Chad Cardinal, one of Canada's most hooker against Bill. I told you before. Watch this by Danny Baugh.
Lougheed
ties it up.
When the ball spun wide here, Danny Baugh comes in and stops play. Action, great job on Tommy Ross.
it hits the American
Deep inside their 22, and here's another look at the
your face. You're invading my space. He's got to back off a little bit and see those guys eyeball to eyeball. Watch for action between those two. They're both fiery competitors.
Definitely a love-hate relationship between these two teams. They love to hate each other. Phillips and Cardinal, no exception.
taken by T.
Great opportunity for Canada. Banks. Rather Sharon driving through. Graff. Back inside to Banks. Graff. Space almost had the gap. Almost
Had the gap and almost had a set.
try.
Interesting call here. They've called Canada for not releasing the ball in the contact. There's another case. Let's look at Johnny Kennedy. Those little dummies, little space. Johnny's going through. I can't see him holding on to that ball. Maybe he's saying he did not release after the initial tackle.
It looked like it was close, but I believe the rule is if it's not being held, he can retain possession of the ball. Because it might have been questionable there.
Americans got away with a lucky bounce there. That kick didn't touch, and was not able to field it, and thus the Americans retained the possession. When you get a penalty in rugby nowadays, it's a double penalty. You get to take punts, and you also get to put it in the line.
Phillips goes deep into the back of the lineup. Luke Gross. Here comes the run. Not offside. Play allowed to continue.
But the Americans take possession.
dangerous.
There's a penalty there. Should be to Canada. We'll talk about that later.
Making absolutely no forward movement with that kick. The referee.
Well, that was a very poor kick by the Americans, and you cannot be within 10 meters of that ball when it comes down. Those American players can get away.
It looks like Cardinal's injured. We'll go down to Neil.
Well, I can tell you that Cardinal the hooker is on the sidelines right now, suffering a cut over his left arm by Pat Dunkley, and as soon as after eligible to get back into the game. Kevin?
4 or 5 states watch one more score. This is his birthday today. He's 1 year old, and so something to remember. Got a cut on his forehead.
Phillips with the throw. He misses Gross. The Eagles pick it up and drive forward. Hodges. Parker. A lot of chatter. Ball's dead. Scrum down, Eagle.
Referee is English very broken, and he left to use signals to communicate with players. And by them talking to the Japanese referee, you're not going to get much response.
Collapse scrum. Dunkley, the new addition. Gary Dunkley and Cardinal, of course, no strangers.
No, they've been rivalries. They're both from James Bay. Pat's been with the CTSD in Victoria for 1 year. Both fine players.
Eagles back inside enemy with Lyle. Big hit by Banks. Looks like the Canadians have stolen the ball. Going with the right foot. Lyle has support on the right side, but he kicks it deep. And he gets the ball. Unfortunately, just rolls into the goal area, and the Eagles will have a 22 dropout.
The Eagle players asking for the scrum back. That only occurs when the ball goes through the goal. So if you punt that ball and it goes outside the in goal, then it's a scrum back to where you kicked it from. American ball. He did a little sevens play here to keep possession.
Quick restart for the Eagles. Out to New for his options, but couldn't link up with Grover. Scharnberg does a really good job of retaining the ball for the Eagles. By Stewart, looking to counter. Puts the through low heat and Stewart going up. Great take by New. Shell back well by the Eagles. The left foot of Morrow. And he relieves pressure, finding touch.
There was a little miscommunication, I think, on the two Canadian players. I think David thought that Scott was going to get it, and Scott was sure that he was going to jump to the ball. Neither of them went ball. We'll see it here. They're looking for the going to take it, and they both hold off thinking he was going to do it.
And he was able to take the ball well, channel it back, and the Eagles were able to relieve the pressure. They're just shy of the halfway line for the lineup. Cardinal with the line back in the lineup after receiving perhaps a few stitches. Fine take, but it's sold by the Eagles. To New. To Grobler. Can't find Kendall. Advantage Canada. And they look to move it. Can't find Ross. Ryan. She's one through. Morrow will watch that one roll out of bounds. 22. Missing link there. Bobby Ross on that occasion.
I think Bobby did the right thing. It wasn't a great pass. We just let it go. And Scott picked it up, and it was a nice little kick in the corner. What he wanted was that ball to stay on the field play so the Americans could push the ball up. Be Canada possession inside 22. This game is all about who has the rugby ball. Right now, the USA has it.
So there's Cardinal with some electrician's tape over the stitches, but right back in the game. He's not going to miss this one.
No chance.
Eagles go deep. They line out, and Lyle will hang on to that.
Now, this has been a question mark that gets practiced all week against Tom Phillips. He's a fine player, but he's known for not being a great lineout thrower. So put some pressure. We're going to get the quick throw. Now we have the possession inside 22.
Attacking opportunity. There's the back weights for the two countries. Fairly evenly matched. Canada have a slight weight advantage. Just take on about 4 goals and still produce the ball. Finds Ross. There's big Richard. Once again, Ross. Keeps it tight. Brian.
Okay, this is something, Mark, to got to adjust to.
Yep.
They don't think they're holding on to it. It was quick enough for the referee. We've got Kuklinski coming in with 6-6, and he from the sideline, he saw something. It would probably be a stomping. We're not ready to the conversation, but something like.
Canada will look to make some adjustments. That's 3 penalties against the Maple Leafs for not releasing the ball in contact after the tackle.
So they must adjust. He's talking to Ryan Bank right now, and Kuklinski has seen some sidelines. He hasn't imagined it, and Ryan Bank cleaning up his act. I don't think he'll get a card for this offense. Caution, no yellow card. So Canada's 3 penalties, as you said, for holding the ball in after they made contact, and it doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. They must adjust the referees.
So this could have happened with Banks.
Banks is with the blue head protector. I see nothing. Not guilty, Your Honor. Maybe we didn't see on the video. Nothing there.
Might happen just before that. Could have been a phantom call. Very long pass by Toronto. Danny Ball keeps it tight. Not held, so he can keep going forward. Great play by Danny Ball. Good forward progress by the Canadians. Going forward, but the Eagles awarded the scrum.
Graf rolls his eyes. If the ball's on the ground and it's a ruck, it goes to the team that took the ball in. If it's a maul that's not produced, the ball's off the ground, it goes to the team that defended. He must have felt that was the ball, and the Americans have the possession.
Here's a break by Dalzell. Looking for Scharnberg. Throws it wide to Anatoni. Sidestep Nichols, and he's got space. Does he have the legs? Ross trying to cut him up, but he's in the corner. And a half break by Dalzell. Through the wild pass out. It bounced right by Anatoni. And Anatoni was just able to slip out of this last tackle and make the corner.
That's why he's the top pointer for the USA. He's very elusive. He beats the tackle of Smith and then out legs into the corner.
Bobby Ross, the last line of defense, making a great effort to try and get back time, but Anatoni with too much time and too much space made the corner.
Here we see the break. Here's the missed tackle here. He's not going to catch him. International rugby, once he get by, it's good night, nurse.
Desperately needs points, and Anatoni provided. Anatoni and Phillips making their 3rd international appearance for the Eagles in today's match. Anatoni will make it back.
Well, that try, as they say in rugby, was against the flow of play. I thought the Americans were a little bit flat, and they were doing nothing. This will turn things around. The last time they went for a goal, it was a kickable kick. They shanked it. Now they've got to try, and maybe they can, Dan Lyle can rip up the spirit in this American team. They've been a little lackluster the first 20 minutes of this game.
So it was a great finish by Anatoni, but it was actually Dalzell that's making a great burst through the gap and linking up with the wing. Now he's got a chance to take the convert. Tough kick from the side, and he squids that one. So Canada leading the Eagles 10-5. Midway through the first half of action. The State's desperate to put points on the board and have done that. Just a bit.
One of the stats we're looking at along with the Canadians, so we take it into contact and how many times we produce it. The Canadians have taken it 28 times into contact and have produced the ball 24 times. USA has taken it 15 times and only produced it 9.
So they're producing it well. So far they lead on the scoreboard. Dalzell with the right foot. Tie. Almost out on the fly, and he was outside the 22, so the line will return just outside the Eagles' 22. It was a deep kickoff by Ross Anatoni, trying to make it happen again, just ducking underneath the tackle. And Dalzell looking to relieve the pressure, but just outside 22. So the ball, the line out, will be just outside the Eagles' 22, but for Canada. It was a middle of the line, overthrows Tate, so it's Eagles stealing the ball. That's Tarda taking it. Dalzell, partially blocked by Sharon, gathered ball by Graf. Canadians will look to regroup. Help out to Ross. To Brian. Trying to pound his way through Grobler. Once again. Weiss.
Ross, no out in the backfield.
Headway, produce a ball now over reverse field. Hutchinson out in the back line. Canada almost lose the ball, but the referees called it knocked forward. Not a lot happening there, Gary.
Well, the Americans were good on defense. They weren't coming forward and hitting things like they usually do. They were still letting the Canadians run them, but they were still holding. There's a different tactic. They usually try to bang you. They seem to stand still, let the Canadians run at them, make tackle, stop it, force the error, forward pass, knock on. Now the Americans have the scrum.
That's big Luke trying to break through. Stopped well by Hutchinson. Two. Outside pass was cut off, so we held it.
They'll try and regroup.
Calling for it. Right foot, tactical kick. Doesn't get the bounce. Here comes Scott Stewart. Punches deep. Gathered by Morrill. It's a left-footed kicker.
It's outside 22 again.
Outside 22
again. Take it back. Clearly outside 22.
So a mental error by Morrill.
He's saying no, but sure he didn't check.
Can't believe it. Saying, hey, I was tied to 22. Obviously not.
Pinsky made the call. He was right on. Stepped outside, 1 foot outside, banged the ball straight out of bounds.
So once again, Canada at the Eagles 22 with the lineup. Back line out. Trying to go to Tate this time. Interfered by Dan Lyle.
Gary, that's twice.
Canada has not been able to connect. Very kicked by Duke, but gets it off.
And something the Parfrey was talking about at halftime for sure. And Mark Cardinal, one of the strengths of his play is he's still an out thrower. I don't think that shot doesn't affect him at all, but he's not being played well today.
Time he was inside the 22. But it's the Canadian lineup. Cardinal will try and link up. This time they go short. But he's off it by Parker.
That throw was right on. It was just a good amount of defense in that lineup.
Duke. Grobler. Tried to find Scharnberg. But Bobby Ross tried to punch it through. Here goes Danny Hutchinson. Fine shot, but he's coming through. Knocked it forward. It'll be scrummed down. Eagles. Well, that's 3 lineouts in a row that the Eagles pulled, Gary, when Canada's been in the Eagle 22 area.
Well, the game plan they had was to put pressure on the Eagle lineout because he's known for not being able to throw the ball. But they've reversed the Canadian thrower to be right on. Mark went to the front of the lineup to straighten things up. It's an easier throw and usually a show in. We've got 7 minutes left in the game. The half. I'm sorry. Checking the time here. Have to take a look at this injury.
Would like this opportunity to give thanks to the first one.
And welcome back. 10-5. Canada leading the States. CTV coverage of the 1999 Epson Rugby Cup. Eagles deep by their 22, but with time now with the penalty. Taken quickly by Lyle. That's Scharnberg trying to blast his way through. Dalzell keeping it tight. Hitting Dan Lyle on the block. The new goes to the right foot looking for space. It's the roll. And the Eagles hit it out of their half. Putting a bit of pressure in the Eagles' territory, but it's not resulting in points for them.
Well, a lot of times the Eagles got the ball. Canada went for a quick line out there, but they're calling them back. I think they're still adjusting some of the interpretations that the referee is making, and they will get points if they can keep the ball inside the American 22. The American scrum faltered in the last big scrum. Canada might have the edge on them and exploit that advantage in the second half.
So we'll look for Canada playing well, and Canada's attack to win a line out here. Finally taken by Graff.
Brian
looking for some blocks by Canada.
The referee, I guess, not the first knock on.
No, he's calling
but
the
he
knock
saw
on.
the States knock on.
Right, he's calling the second knock on against the United States. The referee's not perfect, and he doesn't see everything.
Canada with the break. Graf with the put-in. Canadian backfield split. Link with Graf. Almost intercepted by Dell. Definitely the Fiji game.
No, I'm sure Parfit doesn't want the Canadians to get too in this game. They're up. It was not a good link between Ryan Banks and John Graf. The choice is that Banks will run the ball or feed John Graf. I think they ran it and then unload on Johnny a little bit late.
Graf trying to link Smith. Came from the blind side. Graf made his options. Links with Bobby Ross. Nichols doesn't, but Lougheed does. He produces the ball. Nobody there for Canada. But a quick call against the Eagles. I don't know about that, Gary.
Well, there was no guys for the ball. I called the American play. That was a loose play. So Canada gets quick here, and I'm going to bang the ball into the corner. Watch it here on the replay. Nice little cheeky chip by Bobby. David gets it. He drives in. He produces the ball fine. There's no two guys bound over the ball. The American picks it up. Should be
like a free ball, but Canada benefactors of two suspect calls by the referee and have made the most of it. Once again, a quick throw. Line out. Trying some different things there with quick throw to Pope.
Canada has won 2 lineouts out of 7. And we have 3 minutes to go.
So Canada, that's where something working the lineup will try to add to their 5 lead over the Eagles 3 minutes before the half. And it takes over from the Eagles to slow the ball. New. Nailed by Puck and drew backwards. The Eagles have managed to produce it. Dell finds Morrow, who goes to the left foot. Once again, cannot find touch. And unfortunately, Lougheed heading backwards, just not able to handle that ball. But Gary, some major lineup happening, or problems rather, in the lineup of Canada.
A major topic of discussion at that time. David tries to throw by Mark again. They've got some big men at the front. 6'9", he's trying to go over top. Nobody in Canada is even off the ground, so that might not be the hooker's responsibility. Somebody should be in the back of that lineup.
So perhaps the problem with the boosting. The Eagles with the scrum. Grobler. Nailing Artis. And quick up by Canada now has the ball.
There, that was the rocks, but Jerome was onside. Great play by
Hutchinson to Ross, to Brian Nichols to Smith. Can't quite find Stewart. The ball's just sitting there. Finds the whistle, but
who knows? It could go any which way. He's saying somebody on top of the ball. Of course, the English is not very good, so it's got to go with the hand signals. Their bodies all over the field, lying on that loose ball. They get cleared down right now. John Graf is motioning.
welcome back. 10-5. Canada leading the States. Pause here for an injury. Mark Cardinal receiving stitches earlier, but looked like he was going into contact here.
Well, we see Courtney Smith driving. It is Mark Cardinal, number 2. He's got a black tape over his eye already. Picks up the ball and takes it into a big lock from the air. Look at all the players on the ground. Nobody on their feet. Who did what? I mean, it's hard to call. Got some blood in his shirt, but Dunkley's waiting to come. Penalty against the American. Bobby's going for a 48-yard, 48-meter. Must be right half time. I think this is probably right at the end of that. The captain's asked the referee how long left, and he said, "That's it." Bobby will say, "Well, go for it then." Canada has the breeze.
Bobby Ross with the breeze behind him will look to an 8-point lead into the locker room. Long kick. Had the line, just didn't quite have the distance. Lyle bringing it out to the Eagles. Big hit by Banks. Stopped inside 22. Tardis is not down. Eagles have produced. Anatoni, new, gets it away. Referee looking at watch. And that'll do for half. First half, Canada leads the USA 10-5. Bobby Ross successful. Extra penalty at the last minute there. Not a bad first half of action. Canada coming off very quickly at the beginning. Looked like they were on top of things. Scoring that try, turning the tide a bit. With Sunil Joshi.
Thank you, gentlemen. With me, head coach at Parfrey.
We're having a lot of problems in our line-out in our own ball. We've got territory that we're not able to face play from the line-outs, so we have to try and resolve that. Our defense work is outstanding, and it's pretty tight in the present moment. We've had all the territory. We've got to pay off in the next period. Against the wind, they have the wind, so it'll be kick the ball behind us. So we're going to have to do that and still try and play in their half.
Absolutely. I mean, the first half looked like it was tilted because you were pretty well on top of them the whole time, but not just getting ball.
Not getting the ball line-out was a critical problem. Okay. And we'll see what's out of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's back.
Thanks, Sunil. So the score, Canada leading the States 10-5 here at Fletcher's Field in Markham, Ontario. Good half of action. Canada will be looking to make some changes. Half, of course, looking to improve their line-out performance in the second half of action. We'll be back with more of halftime. And welcome back to Fletcher Field here in Markham, Ontario, and CTV Sportsnet's coverage of the 1999 Epson Cup. Canada leading the States 10-5. A good first half of action. Canada getting on the board early here. John Graff, the veteran, his 51st appearance for Canada, able to squeeze through a little hole in the corner, put Canada on the board early. There's the try. Canada dominating play in the early going and definitely having the crowd behind it, but then the mistake here, right?
And then John Graff's opposite number, the scrum half United States, makes a huge break, Kevin Dalziel, and then feeds to the top try scorer and top point getter for the Americans, Anatoni, who outlegs in the corner to 5 points for the Americans.
So the States on a little convert. So Canada enjoying a 5-point slim lead at this point. Canada 10, the US 5. We'll be back with halftime after this right here on Sportsnet. And welcome back to Fletcher Field. Canada enjoying a 5-point lead over the USA Eagles right now, but we'll definitely need to make some adjustments in the second. Joshi has to find out what those adjustments are going to be.
Thank you, Mark. First of all, Coach Pat Parfrey talked about a line-out. That was a big problem as far as first half is concerned, too, right? What kind of adjustments can they make?
Had a quick meeting. They're going to go back to something they're more familiar with, a 4-man line-out, and obviously there's an injury as well, so that's going to change things.
Let's talk about the injuries a couple.
Yeah, we've had Mark Cardinal will go back in again, and probably most significantly, Bobby Ross is on his hand, and he's going to have to come off. Julian Lee comes in at 9, and John a lot of games.
Let's have it underway. Let's go upstairs.
So second half of action, just underway. Gary, some tremendous changes in Canada now. Bobby Ross out, Graff moving to stand. Julian Loveday coming in.
This is huge. The scrum half position is extremely important. This is by fire. He's only played about 15 minutes in this whole tournament. He's a bit of a jackrabbit from half. We'll see how he handles the pressure in a big game like this.
So Bobby Ross, 34th appearance for Canada, out with a broken bone in his hand. And the duties will fall to John Graff now at standoff. So a very interesting change of events here for the Canadians. Definitely something he did at this point in the game.
Well, I don't think it's a problem with John Graff. The number 10 spot is familiar to him. He played there for his club. And Julian is a great pressure for him. He's an experienced player. He's from Calgary. I think he's about 35 years old. But he's never been in a game like this. Winning by 5 points. He must play well.
So Loveday holding the ball full goal. Picks. Finds Morrow. The Eagles retain 2. Shoots out by Canada. Dead. Maintain Dalzell. So Dunkley in his presence fell right away in for the injured Mark Cardinal.
John Hutchin, this is Ryan Beck right here. John Hutchin was the player who did. And again, John's not going to be able to discuss things with the referee. But he wasn't on the wrong side. The Americans will bang the touch, and they'll use their big win here today. And
talked about that advantage the States will have, and we might look to see deep plays by the Eagles to put Canada under pressure, the back three, and see what they can do with that pressure.
Right. There is a change in the back three, and they're pretty strong. It's the scrum half fly half combination that will be under pressure.
So it's still Billups with the line-out throw, but he's taken the scrum cap off. The Eagles not having a lot of problems. Gross able to take that one. That's a big run by Tardis. Just can't find Morrow. Just had a head of steam forward, but able to produce. Good defense by Canada.
Right, here's NFL football player throwing a bad pass, and it's broken up by the Lougheed.
Good tackle by Scott Stewart, doing his job at fullback. Lougheed almost picking that one off, but a good attacking position for the Eagles. Tardits. Lyle. Tardits. Fake the reverse pass back. Canada stolen the ball. But it's funneled back to Eagles' side. Going nowhere, driven back by Banks. Now I'd hope that it's a Canadian scrum, and indeed it is.
We had some free trade there. Canada had it, gave it to the United States, and the ball back to Canada. Americans got it back again, and now the referee's giving the ball to Canada. It's ball inside the 22 that's crucial. Americans had it, and they've lost it. Now Canada has possession.
Eagles captain Dan Lau will not be happy with that scenario.
Mark, we're joined here by Gary Reese has come up with a booth, and surely some shocking news. His handguard.
See Johnny's in there, going to call Bobby had a handoff and snapped his wrist, we think. So that's a change.
So Graf moves handoff, link with Scott Stewart, tower kick, and finds touch just short of halfway. And Gary, about that now, the new combination of Lovely scrum half Graf moving the standoff.
Obviously, Johnny's got a lot of experience there, probably 15 caps even at fly half. So that was his job there. A big test for Julian. And the other significant, I guess, is Johnny will pick up with goal kicking. There is still a backup of Scott Stewart's this year, but big pressure on him as we saw in the first half. Those two big kicks were by Bobby.
And has Graf been practicing?
Not as much as he'd like, I'm sure, because he wasn't expecting to win it.
He's also got the added pressure going against the breeze. It's tough, but he can only do a touch.
Yeah, exactly. And just keep the pressure on him. But the line of strap everything.
Dalzell. Again, Hart is trying to break through, but Canada stolen the ball. But to Nichols, who's hit. He was trying to go to Stewart, but Stewart's done a good job of gathering, but then Lyle all over the field for the States. And while we have a subject play, Joshy has Bobby Ross.
Thank you very much, and with this indeed, Bobby Ross. The stuck on your hand is not a good sign. Tell me exactly what happened and when did it happen.
First 5 minutes of the game, we were right in the corner, and my hand just got stuck between two guys. In the palm of the hand, so no power. Put somebody else in there. You can at least handle the ball.
You played the rest of the half, so obviously you gave it the best you could possibly give it.
It just got worse, and I just lost this feeling. I said, you know, like I said, power.
Hey, John, let's go back upstairs, get the actions underway.
So, penalty here, obviously a big loss for Canada. Garrett Bobby Ross out. How will that affect the team in the next game against Tonga, and of course leading up towards the World Cup?
Well, obviously, I'm hoping to be back for that. That's working hard in the physio, and I'd like to. Hopefully, I'll be fit if Bobby isn't. So that's important. But Johnny's an able replacement today, and he's a talented footballer, and I'm sure he'll rise to the challenge.
Of course, Bobby Ross did come in substitution for you due to injury. How is your injury? And we saw you yesterday with the team, late workout, but how's it feeling, and what exactly is happening with your injury at the moment?
Well, last week against the Samoans, or 2 weeks ago, I say sorry, I missed a tackle against Lemon, just a jog on the ground. Nothing really bad, but I strained posterior cruciate ligament. And the rehab wasn't responding as I'd like to for this game, so because it's World Cup year, we maybe extra caution.
The USA.
It looks like, and hopefully I'll be back on that Tonga tour. And I think injuries like that in World Cup, you just got to take a little bit extra care, and that's our ultimate goal. Even though we're more than ready to set right straight today with a big win.
So you're hoping to travel with the team to Tonga?
Yeah, definitely, and have some sunshine well. The rugby go well. So the penalty's good, and
So
Dalzell with 3 for bringing them within 2. Canada leading the U.S. at 8. And play once again underway. Restart by Graf. Once again, the referee having a chat. This time with Dunkley. John Graf go and listen to the conversation.
situation, Gareth. There seems to be some different interpretation between the referee and the players in today's match.
Yeah, he doesn't speak a great deal of English, but sometimes that's a good thing. I know the scrummaging's gone well, but he doesn't seem to be that happy. I'd think he'd be happy now with a shot. It's a shame for Markham, especially his son today. I wanted to mention that. He's back in Victoria, but Mark will be really disappointed, but hopefully packing that sort of things out here and do his job.
Canada possession in the first half and came away with not 2 points. Americans have the breeze now, even though it seems to be gusting. And of course, they're now putting the pressure on Canada. They've been across the center line the majority of the time in the half.
Yeah, Gary, Chris Morrow, their fullback's got a big left foot, and we were talking to Scott about that. He's got to watch that kind of territory we gained.
Scharber links with Grobler. Stayed past the game line. To Morrow. And Tony, he's back inside, looking for support. Tony dangerous with ball at any time. Two, off you keep it. Find him backwards. Some friendly play here by Scharber. Rare touch for him. Canada stopping the state and rewarded with the scrum down. Gareth, you were in the locker room at halftime. What was Pat Parfrey saying about changing this?
Obviously, we had some technical things to consider as we see the but the lines have been changed, and that looks better. And obviously, we talked even before the game. The Americans never give up. They're very proud, a lot like ourselves. Very proud of their jersey and of their. Same thing happened in Argentina, our World Cup qualifiers last year. We played the best rugby of our summer, and for 60 minutes, and then they came right back in the last 20. And this is what we're seeing a little bit of at the start of the second half. They won't lie down, and they're a very proud team. So we've got to keep on our path.
Now we leave the game and win the game. And there's some problems here with Johnny Grafton. Hopefully it's something very temporary. You can administer on the sidelines. That would be a tremendous loss to lose Johnny at this time.
Loveday with the kick. Can't find touch. Backwards. The Americans, a referee allowed play to continue, but stolen by Canada. Out to Stanley. Half gap finds quick hands. Can't link with Lee.
Knock on by the Americans, and he's calling it a different knock on. A knock on. So the penalty kick is going to set from. Canada's off before. Quick ball, or they're going to touch.
Looks like Canada at a loss here, of course, losing John Graf right now, so who takes over, Gareth?
Well, David Lopez is going to punt this one. Scotty Stewart's obviously a good punter. Here we see the break just knocked on there by the American player. Otherwise, David was in for a run there. He's touching. This is the type of problem he could face with Johnny off the field.
So Morrow with the left foot, deep kick. Gathered well by Stewart, who looks to counter. Makes a move, cuts back inside with Tate. He's hit by Lyle. In there, calling for the ball. Nichols tries to push through the right foot, but Anatoni right there makes a move. Low heat hanging on. Goes in to support. Eagles there in numbers. Dalzell with the right foot, but no one to chase. Anatoni's in the tackle, so unable to continue to chase that ball.
Scott Stewart just on the mark. Here we see John Graf. Obviously a cut. They're fixing him up as quickly as possible, and that means that he'll be back in. Winston Stanley will come out because he's a replacement.
A smart move there, I think. Scott Stewart, even though he had time, slowing things down, giving Johnny extra couple of minutes, and letting the team regroup. This is a real challenge, you know. A couple of our big leaders, that's going to put us under pressure again.
Tony making a nice run. Looks like it's knocked forward by States. Referee missed that, knocked on by the Eagles. Canadian scrum, and John Grafton set to come in. And a new look for John with the scrum cap. And Gary and I were going to talk about this. And Gareth, you cap on playing. What can you tell us about the scrum cap and where it's going in the game of rugby?
Well, I know a lot of the school children have started wearing it, and it's important. It doesn't prevent concussions. It's not a helmet. It's not a... One of the great things, and it's significant, it can prevent a lot of cuts in rugby. That's why a lot of people are wearing it.
That's right. It also protects ears and makes them very, very happy. Yeah, I think it's a good thing for rugby. They should standardize the color though, because I think it attracts 4 or 5 colors on the field.
Yeah, one of the tricks is that the blood doesn't show up in black ones. There isn't an IRB move to ban some of the black ones. But Johnny's got a new look, maybe not a very good look there, but see how it helps.
But a good look, Canada back in the ability once in the standoff spiders. Brian drives. The ball forwarded to the Eagles side, has been blown down.
More advantage to Canada. Canada gets the set. Canada's a little disjointed right now. They've got to settle down. Mike Schmidt is coming in from the sideline. He will probably replace Ryan Bank number 8. Kuklinski the touch. Just up right in the center, the other center. He's played well today, and he's got to continue to play well against these big American centers.
So Graf with big right foot. Just fine touch. Morrow comes up.
takes it in the air well, and hit immediately by Nichols. But the Americans produce the ball. Dalzell calling for it. Goes blind new. Tries to chip for it, but it's not by Hutchinson. He's got Danny Bott. Danny Bott had space. Just caught by Anthony.
Well, that's a great lift. That type of play. Something we need. The crowd back in the game. Get the ball going forward again. The team needs to get going forward. Here you see it. A little bit late. A great jump, and he's got your pace. If he could have got a bounce, he might have been in for a try. But unlucky he gets into touch. Just
Danny Ball's one of the fastest players in the Canadian teams. When he gets only the worst would be able to catch him.
Talked about throw off the top of the show. Danny Ball definitely one of those forwards.
And we're bringing a little size now. And Blackbank's coming out, and Schmidt coming in.
So like the tactical substitution, they talked about this off the top of the game, Gareth. They were going to move some players, some different things.
it's part of the modern game, you know. If you've got fresh legs, you got to use them. Here we see attempted quick lineup, but the referee's going to bring back. If you've got, bring him in the game. You know, it's allowed now. It's a great shame for Ryan out to his mates. I think he's at the game today, carrying the ball and very good defense. Mike Meddy's been a great player, had a good season this year with Rob. He's a real leader on their team, and he's performed well as well.
So now the crowd trying to get Canada motivated again, puts points on the board, only leading the U.S. by 10-8 way through the second half of action. Lougheed is stood up, driven back by Zartenberg, but Canada rolling forward. It's picked up by Dunkley. Spins, moves, lovely. Rathgaz with that. Nichols foot again, punches it deep. But Morrow with the left foot.
There's no fullback back there.
Play, so there's no fullback for Canada, but there goes Kyle Nichols. Bounces inside 22. Now Canada looks to counter. There's Lougheed. Takes on Morrow. So he ref looking for a little bit of daylight. Stop. Love with the ball. Good hands by Nichols. Tried to get it out. Brian. Red Rose through. There's half break by Suker. Eagles with players out to the right. Possible overlap. Morrow. Grobler. Back inside to Hightower. Canada all sorts of pressure just outside their 22. Whistle's been blown. Good scrum. Canada doing some good defensive things there, Gareth, but what else were they trying to do? As Parfrey said, look at this game, but also looking towards the cup.
Well, we just saw it there. I'm glad we stopped kicking the ball away up to that point. We had some good driving, running off 9, running off 10. A good athletic forwards keeping the ball in hand. Unfortunately, a bit of a wayward kick there that we paid for, and the Americans have come right back the other way.
Substitute more
you want to get the ball in hand.
And a substitution. We'll be back right after this. And welcome back. Canada leading the U.S. 10-8. Substitution for the Eagles. It looks like Juan Grobler will come out with a blood injury. Not sure if he will return, but more than able to replace Mark. Lineup for the Eagles. It's Dalzell with Morrow. Scott Stewart trying to tear the ball away from Morrow, doing a good job driving sideways. Canada looking for the ball, but the referee giving to the Eagles.
Had the overlap on the outside. If the ball had gone, it would have been tried, but he wasn't able to pass. Great defense by Canada. They're still under.
There's Juan Grobler getting looked at. Still unsure whether he will return today. Gareth, it looks like fitness is becoming a bit of a factor for the Eagles. Very hot, humid day here at Fletcher Field.
Yeah, to get across the plane. Our changes are causing us some problems. I got last little run the Americans, so it's going to be interesting here.
Tony trying to duck through there, but Canada's holding the ball. They pull it back. The Eagles are onside. Well, it's Parker, but play continues. Right. Deep kick, Morrow in position to feel it. However, the referee is seeing something.
The referee judged that one advantage. Comes back for Canada for the offside. I see John Teal warming up on the sidelines. I'm sure Canada will have some substitutions here well. Fresh legs on the field. John to the tight end. He'll get from Richard Price. And it's a tactical substitution. Here comes John right now from the James Bay in Victoria. Fine player as is Richard Price.
As you talked about, Garrett's fresh leg, perhaps a case of that here.
Yeah, definitely. If we can turn her up front, we got a bit of an advantage there. We can keep it going. John seems to fit in quite well. We had a little problem at the blind side because he's not aware of the defensive alignment, and that's how they run there on the blind side. So we've got to keep the communication level. We've got to keep sticking to the basics and hopefully not give Mark Williams up for the Americans some kind of penalty goal.
Well, I think that was a good substitution for the United States because Mark Williams is a good goal kicker, a better goal kicker than what they've got in the field right now. And so close game like this, you see that.
Number 16.
So advice well for Canada, substitution tactically, and the United States also makes a tactical substitution. Number 6, Chicago coming in, and also number 8, Foreigner coming in. Some fresh legs, I guess.
Yeah, this could be
talked about.
This could be very interesting because the lineup problems we see Luke Rose coming out there. Division 1 NCAA with lots of trouble, and hopefully it'll make our life easier. And now you see a good possession from John.
Still possession. Loveday. We linked up with our Canada still keeping it tight into Hutchinson. He's produced it. Loveday looking for the ball. Finds Al Sharon. Sidestep tackle by the Phil Leclerc reserve. Snow coming in. And that's what it seems the intensity dropped a little, Gareth, when the States scored their first try.
Gary, I like that. Rod Snow is a pretty good guy striking up the crowd with the bit. I think some of our forwards are a little slow to get to the ball and maybe a bit of a rest. Got to keep the work with
You'll see rocking in the American players get far, and comes in and just cleans them out. That'll be a motivational thing from there. He is. Roger putting the lumber in, getting hit by a bowling ball, about 6 foot 265. Yeah. And to get hit by him, he's hit. That's good, Rod. We need that kind of stuff. Fire up, boys.
Shown by Rod, so hoping to lift his teammates up as the crowd against the shot. Dalzell, dummy kicks it, forward by the States, and allowing the bending play there. Lohe, Schmidt, back to Danny Bob. Canada, gaining about 30 meters, and there goes Lohe, breaks the tackle, and owns the post for Canada. Try by you wanted somebody to get this crowd back. Scoring a beautiful try. Lohe breaking all sorts of tackles, pounding his way into the post for Canada.
This is the first game back for David Lohe. They think his presence name with hits and big runs. There's Jim Day putting on the brakes, turn the ball back inside. Mike Smith, new player, gets his hand on the ball. Ball team produced. Here they go. David Lohe goes through 2 tackles and outlegs them all.
It's good to see, and a great decision by Junior Day there, not getting pushed into touch, turnovers there. Here we see the break, and Log gets hands off to his buddies, and he's showing the ball there, but I'm sure he's happy to be back in the kick jersey and get into the sticks at a crucial time for Canada.
Definitely making most of it for Canada. Second action. Lohe with try for Canada.
And if John Graff's got to take the first kick, this is the kick he wants, right?
Well, I'll take these, Gary.
You want to go out there and hit Garrett's going to go out there now and kick those in your Oxfords, as McKenna once said.
So Graff, no problem. Canada increasing their lead, 17-8. Graff sporting the new look.
Yeah, that is not a good look, Johnny, and you get a lot of time when you're a kicker, so sort that out. Wait for Dave Lowe to get on the score. He's been away last most of the season, up and down season last year, not getting picked at first. Had to learn those lessons, and there he is. Very proud Canadian, and it's great to see him back in the jersey.
And played well overseas as well.
Had an excellent end of the season for Leicester. Ended up winning the league there, and he was a big part of it.
High restart for Canada. Hutchinson turning his man. States up the hill. Dalzell back inside to Mark Williams. Keeping it tight. It's by the Canadians. Dalzell with the right. Chase. Taken well by Stewart. Solid in the back. Canada.
Not a great kick by the possession and pressure on Canada. Terrible kick, and so Stewart handled it easily and touched it down for a 20-meter dropout.
Look at Dalzell when it gets a little play. Only had 2 players out of 4 Canadians in defense. Probably should have come the other way.
Here we go. The 7's a quick, tricky lineup. Oh, sorry, dropout. Goes through the hands, get the open man.
And by Stewart, and here's Courtney Smith. One-on-one, back inside. Great move. Support. Canada there. The Graff. Back inside. Big run. Snow takes on Schoenberg. Once again, Canada moving it wide. Nichols looking for a gap. Oh, and just unable to connect with Danny Bob, but you're starting to see things open up, and Canada starting to run the ball wide.
I think as players get tired later on, they get more holes open on the field. Here you see Coach getting put away with a little seventh play that Canada's perfect. And ball loose, and the ball goes back to the other side. Good handling. Danny Baugh, unfortunately, not on. But again, the crowd back into the match.
And smart play. Johnny Graff getting right on there, giving the ball to Rod, one of our big runners.
I think the next score will be crucial. Canada scores. That's why we'll put this game bag.
Yeah.
If Americans come back, it's anybody's ball game.
We're really encouraged. We tried our quick dropout move. It's just a little rubber to and then we get the ball out to the hand. A lot of confidence shown there. You know, that's been one of the knocks against the Canadian team. They're maybe a little too predictable at times, and even a time when we're up, it's great to see guys trying the wins in their arsenal.
So John Graff looking a little prettier. Blood drip or just below.
Beautiful baby. Beautiful baby. I remember that.
They all. Well, he tried to reverse the kick there for touch. Oh, he's cleaned it up, and he's going to clear. And that's a nice break for the Canadians. They're not deep into their own territory. That kick should have put them.
One of the key factors that Canada has a problem with, had a problem with in the past, is contact in possession. We have 85% contact second half. That means when we take it in, we get it back. And that's very, very
good numbers for the Canadian. Ball retention extremely important. Here's Richard Bice icing his cap.
Obviously affecting his pace out there, so he had to come off. Richard, one of our quicker buffs. And the toe as well. Not a pretty sight, really.
So Bice takes the R&R, but again, the States is still in the line out. Scharnberg, here comes Morrow. He's got a hole. And he linked with Hightower. He tried to cover through. Last gathered by Smith. The States all over the ball, and they've retained it.
Will they get a quick penalty, or will they? They're going to try to put it all.
Tried to move quick. Speed. Hand and low. He Morrow dropped the ball, and Morrow down on the field. Referee allowing play to continue. Low, he got the ball now, looking for a gap. Not held, got up. He's linked. Day looking for daylight there, but picked up by Brian. Oh, just not forward.
Referee signaled a penalty. They were giving the advantage rightly, so the Canadians still trying to go at him. Make this ball wide, it could be trouble. Grab out of the space, there's people back there, so he's put it in behind. Great response from the Canadians. Now had to take it out, and Canadians will get possession there. So really good passenger play, great recovery. Got an American player down on the play, but it's really encouraging the boys, keeping the ball in hand. Lowy all up through there, Gary, for another great break.
Well, was that the hit by Lowy? You might see it here. The Americans move the ball. There's a 2-on-1 situation. David comes in and puts a stick on the American flag. Hey, that's sweet. Welcome back, David Lowy. We needed that.
Well, we've got a break in. We'll go to Holder from the Welsh Development Agency.
Hutch.
It's all going very, very well, Chanel. We've got our first game ready to kick off next week. It's Wales versus South Africa. The stadium's just about ready, so there are no doubt about the tournament going ahead. Rest assured, get on your plane and get over there.
So Hutchinson receiving some attention. A lot of cuts in today's game.
Hutchinson's off now, replaced by Whitaker. That means that probably Sharon will come back row, blind side, and Whitaker will come in second row, and they'll try to patch it up Hutch. They're still working on the American fullback, I believe, who was skipping if that hit by David Lowy.
No great loss there. Chris Whitaker's been fine form this summer, played a couple of games, and really unlucky to get the start today. See Johnny Graff now going to go back and have a look at the American player, so he's out.
Three is...
We have a break in action here while Morrow receives on the field. And Hutchinson for the Canadians receiving attention.
This result can hold up, guys, so great, because we've really working hard, checking the strap up.
So Hutchinson received attention, but here's the contact that provided the injury, fortunately, to Morrow, right there with low heat. Big hit. Morrow goes down hard and is still on the field receiving attention. Could be a big one.
We talked about it, we're 1-3, and none of us are happy with that. We hated having to go to the press conference, talk to our supporters, and make excuses. So this is great if the guys hold up with this result. And, you know, that kind of tackle is what we're all about. Gary, you've picked guys who are physical like that, and that's the Canadian stat.
That's the Canadian way. It's successful for that in the past, and we've gone away from that a little bit. We're going to be a little too cute in the other two games, and now we've come back here, and we put some big hits. Snow's had some great hits. Danny Baugh's great hits. Lowy's had some great hits, and it's good day.
And it sends a pretty clear message. There's no coincidence that after Rod big hit, that we ended up scoring our Americans on the back foot. And it's part of the modern game, and we talked about that here. You need that sometimes. Done the shoulder pass. You know, we've been known for it, and we can't take it for granted.
So Chris Whitaker will replace John Hutchinson for the moment. He receives some attention due to a blood injury.
I don't think he'll go to the back. Well, he'll probably go to the center. Gareth, what do you think? And Al Sharon go to the back?
Probably that would make sense. Obviously, Al's in a quality back row. Played a lot of second row here. His bones get a little older, I suppose, but he's done a good job. But I think who's been on the first to go in, and Al will come back. He's another threat. Great defensive player, Al Sharon in the back row, and he'll be cutting him just as we're doing all day.
Gareth, what we got you here, you think you'll be playing in the last game against what you said, and Bobby, obviously the stand-off position is yours, and it's yours if you want. A lot of talk about Canada's centers and being some more power, more size in the center. Will you consider playing there, you and Bobby could stay on the field together, or do you think the number 10 jersey is that's the spot you can control things a little better?
Obviously, that's when it's been talked about. I like to think of myself, and that's part of what makes me contribute this team. But that's the team, and if that happens, then obviously we do it. I think today's been really encouraging. Both Stewart, Scotty Bryan and Hal Nichols defended very, very well, and they've knocked the Americans back. And I think attack they've shown a little bit more passion and got over that game line, which is what we're asking for. So
well, they've had games together, and the second game, now they needed to produce things. There was a problem with making things happen, and I think they have played better. I know it's like Winston there, and there's talk about Louis possibly going there. There's also talk about you going there if you're willing to do that.
Yeah, I know one of the concerns is that themselves is inside center. So there's the learning that's going on, but to be honest, you've heard this from me, that I'd rather play 10, and but Bobby did a really good job when he was. So it could be horses for the course. He's got the best players in the polls. Be really impressed with what the centers have done.
So we'll look forward to seeing you in either 10 or 12.
Or 15. He plays 15,
or 15, whatever the case may be.
Or maybe
we look
3.
forward to a return against Tonga, the next game for Canada, and we enjoyed having you up here in the booth. Thanks for coming, Gareth.
Great. Thanks for everything. These boys can close up when we get the result that we want to support us.
Good luck at Tonga, Gareth. I hope you're back. And when the team needs you, you'll be there. I know that.
Gary. Huddy, huddy.
Huddy, huddy.
So big hand for Scott Morrow as he's helped off field.
Look at Pat. He's ready to get it on. Come on, boys. The Canada's on a roll. Let's keep it going. Another left goal taken by the United States again. It's a major problem, Canada, at this game.
Once again, problems in the line for Canada. The Eagles stealing the ball. Eagle player down the field, far side. Getting up fully. We haven't seen it yet. Now turns, see the player.
You know, Mark, we've never had a problem with this in Canada. We've always been banging our lineups. We're the ones that put pressure on this thing. Look at this. I can't believe this. This has never happened before. And I don't know if the party took a knock and just couldn't get it right. But sometimes the Canadian players weren't even going up in the air. A miscommunication somewhere. And I think Gareth was saying they probably going to short lineouts and maybe change it up a little bit. The Americans are huge lineout, but there's still no excuse. In today's modern game, we must win all. That's a given. And the Canadian guys would like to get going. And another American injury right here. Totally slow the pace of the game down.
Definitely having time added on to today's match. We're in the second half of action as we look at some of the wounded warriors for the Canadians. Dean Cardinal, Hutchinson, out for Canada.
Party, happy birthday son today. I was the proudest punch young boy. And one day we'll have him in a James Bay jersey.
And perhaps a Canadian jersey.
And it's possible. That's the time for Canada. Proud man.
Canadian forward taking some
American forward.
And we'll be back with more after this. And welcome back. Canada leading the States 17-8 by this, but this match by no way over.
Canada being penalized too soon before the ball game. Canada definitely dominating.
There goes Hodges. Making some headway for the Eagles. Try and produce the ball.
American back has been prominent today. That's the first member of the American back row.
And
here comes Love.
Dalzell going for the ball. He's out to Scharnberg. Referee allowing it to continue. Back by Tate Dalzell. Quick hands by Mark Williams, but thrown out. Lucky break Canada.
Lucky break for Canada. They were outnumbered on the one side. David Lowe knocked on. They're going to be penalizing offside in the right. Here's the Americans driving forward. I think we can pick the Canadians offside. Some of these calls I have not been able to see on the replay from the ball out of bounds. The penalty was before that. And somebody was fine. Canadian.
So the States opting to, well, it looks as though they will go for the penalty kick. That will bring them within a converted try.
Right, it's important to take the 3 points now. This is a sitter, and Williams on the field. Williams is probably the top goal kicker, but Delzil did it at the beginning of the game, and he's continued to do it. This is a sitter.
Having an excellent game for the Bills today. Reading the ball well, made that great to set up the first try. Now we'll try and go 2-3. Corbin. Got the leg, has the line. The penalty now within a converted try. Canada 17-11. Second half action. About 15 minutes to go.
Well, we said it earlier, if Canada had got to score a try, it would have been good. Now the Americans have got to first score back in the game. Canada must rise to the occasion. Fans are stomping their feet. There's a ball. He's ready to put more big hits in, and we need it now.
Good hit by Graf. And it's taken well by Whitaker trying to push the American outfit, but the American is pulling it. Dalzell is it out. Roller. And a Tony coming in. Link to link with Hindcover, but he's got space. Goes to the right, but knocked down by Stewart. Referee. Calling the penalty. There, looked as though call it, but
now the question is, will they go for 3 or will they go in the corner? Here we go. It's a late call, late hit in rugby. Once the ball is get you back. There's a kick, and Scotty just put it on him. It wasn't a great hit. It was just simple obstruction.
So drop the shoulder, and it's electrifying when he has the ball, making everything happen there. The first try and the only try so far for the Eagles. Almost broke through for his second. That would have been critical for the State. They're leading, or they're down by 6 rather. Now they have a tremendous opportunity, and as you said, Gary, it looks like they're not elected to go for 3. They want
to go for the win. They don't. There's a penalty play right now. Here it comes. And down Lyle hammered.
At the Ontario wall.
Mano.
The ball's now. Williams back in defense by the Canadians. There's Mark Williams trying to break through.
Canada must get under the tacklers and force some stake here.
Control by the Eagles. Bell. Back inside. Under the try under the post. Beautiful little dummy. Just throws the Canadian defense enough to give him the gap. And for the try, right under the post. The States
will have a tie game, I think, after this is made. And the man of the match, the American, there's from half, Kevin Delzil. There's a little look-see, he's so elusive, there's a little gap, he scoots through, he's tiny, he holds his balance, he's not tackled, he's not held, he stumbles over the line, touches it down inside the right-hand post.
So Dalzell doing it all.
This is to put the Americans ahead by 1 point.
Dalzell converts this try. It'll give the States the first lead of the match. And we've got some USA supporters in, but really outnumbered by the Canadians, who have gone fairly silent here after having to cheer about moments before.
Canada's controlled a great part of this game, and I'm sure it's a huge effort to come back. They were disappointed in their last-minute antics against Western Samoa. I'm sure you're going to see a huge Canadian onslaught after this. 2 points.
We're in injury time. All sorts of confidence put States for the first time of the match. They're ahead, 18-17, as the Canadian bench looks on despondent. Can't believe they've come back up to Canada now. John Graf, Canada under all kinds of pressure, desperate for a win.
We need to end the American territory, get possession, force penalty, get ready for the win.
And Tony was outside the 22, but it was fine touch. Coheed feels it immediately.
The referee, check the ball here. He's called a winger on front of the kicker when he kicked the ball. John Griffith saying he wants the penalty.
And what an opportunity for Canada to present itself. Almost a scrum down.
Is it a penalty? It's a free kick. If it's a free kick, it'll be a scrum deal, call come down. Okay, if it's a free kick on ball, choice to not go for goal. And he's taking a set for the free kick.
Unbelievable action. Come down. USA 22. Hard by Scharnberg. But Canada there at numbers. work. Blindside. Kickoff produced it. Left-hand grab. Ryan. Nothing offside. Brings it back in.
Americans will try to force them.
No grab. Smith. Can't punch it. Defense by the Americans. They're offside. Canada being rewarded.
The referee has been consistent all game. He's nailed Canada 4 or 5 times for that. He's now nailed the Americans. Danny, forget it. He's going to change his mind. Here's the play. There's the position. He checked that. You must be behind the last man's feet. Yes, it looks like he is offside. They come much too quick before it was finished. Good call by the referee. No Gareth, no Bobby. Number 3 man, money grab. 51 caps. Head cut. Man, what's a hit?
50 mission man, John Graf waiting for Tetley T to come out. He'll take off the scrum cap. And opportunity for Graf. Could possibly win the game for Canada. Their first victory in this year's Cliff. Morley. Morale over the States.
All 3 kickers from SMU. Emporia, they're first, then Bobby, then Johnny. Johnny came from White Rock, SMU. They've all been great kickers, all been leaders of their team. What a finish.
So they've passed the torch down from each other, one player to another, and Graf, his first goal attempt today. And what a huge kick it is. Goes left of the post. Tremendous commitment for Graf for 3 minutes in injury. Very little time left.
Dan Lyle's asking how long. Watch the referee look at his watch. By 1 minute, Dan Lyle's got 1 throughout 1 minute. Canada's getting the ball, and Johnny missed. Kickers never win games, never lose games. They only win them. So we've got the ball back now, and away we go. Do not get the ball back. Do not kick the ball to the United States.
So Canada of maintaining possession has to do so now. The States just knocked forward by Graf. And the referee looking at his watch, and the States have done it, defeating Canada by a score of 8-17. Unbelievable last 4 minutes. Canada had the chance. Graf, the penalty opportunity, and the States victory. They go to 3-1, the Epson Cup this year, but more importantly, a huge win for them. Canada beat them 7 straight times, and once again, Fletcher's Field are the field of dreams for the States. They've had incredible success here against Argentina and against Canada, and once again, have pulled a wrap out with a victory against the Canadians, Gary.
So Gareth putting his arm on Johnny, Danny putting his arm around. I feel so bad for Johnny, but you never lose games, buddy. And you had to do a role that you're not accustomed to. Tough loss for Canada.
And the States obviously extremely excited and happy. John Graf obviously taking the weight of that loss on his shoulders, but it shouldn't be there. As you said, Gary, tough kick to make under those kinds of pressures. Unbelievable pressure on John to take the last kick of the game to win it. A lot to expect. And there's Dalzell, who had a brilliant game. And Tony for the try for the States. And we'll go down to Sidney Joshi with John Graf.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Very good, Phil Swallow, for yourself. Your thoughts on this game?
It shouldn't have come down to the last minute. We exhibited control in the first half, and at times in the second half, we just didn't stick to our tight game plan. We threw it a little too wide and isolated ourselves.
It looked, when you got that last try and you were up by 17-8, it looked like the game was in the bag, but obviously the Americans don't quit.
No, they never quit. They're a good bunch of cutters. Played against a lot of times, and the two sides when they play each other are always like this tooth and nail right down the last whistle. And unfortunately for us, they were at the end today.
Tough for me to ask a question, but on the penalty kick, what happened?
Well, it's tough when you get stuck in like that at the end. I haven't been kicking all week, and then Bobby broke hand just before half, and I was the guy stuck in there. It was a makeable kick. I just should have kept my head down and stroked a little better.
Thank you for your time. Let's go upstairs. Mark, Gary.
So John Graf under all kinds of pressure, obviously disappointed. Tough loss for Canada, 18-7. The States over Canada. We'll be back with more after this. CTV Sports coverage of the '99 Epson Pacific Cup. And welcome back to the final score. Once again, Canada 17, the USA Eagles 18
and tremendous game, but obviously disappointing one for Canada, Gary.
It was disappointing for Canada, but Canada's going to take the course. Parfrey's paddling the ship, but Canada played well most of the game. So bad for Johnny. Huge pressure at the end of the game. I was the coach when he came in as a kid. He's done great service for Canada. We love you, Johnny. Don't take it on your shoulders. Canada keep on track. The victories will come.
An unbelievably tough position for John Kraft to come in under all kinds of pressure. Was not the kicker. Gareth out. Bobby Ross out, Graff in. You can't blame John Kraft for this loss.
Not at all. Kickers win games and never lose them. We had lots of pressure in the first half. We came up with very few points. I think the game, they just ended up winning this close one. Very disappointing.
And as we've seen before, Gary, Canada playing well, just falling short. But once again, the bigger picture, of course, the Rugby World Cup, and positive signs in that direction for Canada.
Well, I think we're in a good pool in France. They lost to Tonga last week. They can beat France, they can beat Namibia, they can beat Fiji. Just keep the course, stay with Parfrey, he's going to do the job.
So a tough luck for Canada today, but both teams playing well, and it's the USA team coming out on top, and Dalzell from half for the States had a brilliant game. Tremendous try, the dummy move under the post, and but did it for the States.
He was the man of the match. Great game for him. This is a final kick for Johnny. He's a right-footed kicker. It's the wrong side of the field, and he shanked it a little bit to left. He didn't miss by much, but you don't get much trying.
So once again, a very difficult loss for Canada. Beating Canada just by 1 point. We'll be back with more around with post-game action from CTV Sportsnet's coverage of the 99 Epson Cup Pacific Rim Rugby. And welcome back once again. Canada losing to the Eagles 18-17. Tough loss for Canada. And Gary, we talked about it off the top of the show, the keys to the game, the grudge match, the rivalry, it was definitely there. Big hits on both sides.
Does anyone think they were playing our patterns to get ready for the World Cup? They were playing to win, the blood, the injuries, it's all there today. Canada-US, a great rivalry.
Difficult game between the two Canadians. Reese not obviously not drafted. Bobby Ross had to come off as well, so John Graff had to step it up once again.
I think that was a major change in the Canadian team, and I thought Lovey okay at scrum half, and Johnny fine in the outside half position, but it was a major change to the Canadian lineup.
And both centers played extremely well for Canada, but Canada with the loss falls to 5th position in standings. The States moving to 2nd place. They have a chance to tie Japan. They can't beat, but Canada with 4 losses, but a point in each game.
Yeah, I think the Americans with their last game and with our scoring system, you get 4 points, extra point if you score 4. So Canada got 4 points in 4 games. We've lost all 4 games. We kept all the scores close. The United States has a chance to beat Japan in the final point total.
So a tough loss for Canada. That's it for Gary and I. Now down to Neil Joshi.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. What a terrific finish. Unfortunately, it didn't go for Canada. John Graff had the chance to kick that penalty goal. Unfortunately, it went wide. And as he told me in the interview, of course, he hasn't been doing much kicking all week long. It was a tough situation for him to be in. You guys have talked about it. As far as injuries are concerned, he got a chance. Go back upstairs to Gary Mark.
Gary Johnston, Neil Joshi, I'm Mark Doherty. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye from Markham.